What's up, guys? It's Jay, MorninAfterKill, and I'm back here on my road to 30. This is a series that I do on my channel where each week we take 1 year of my life and we talk about the significant events and memories that have come to shape the person that I am today. And right now, I am 29 motherfucking years old. By the time this series is done, I will be 30 motherfucking years old. And this is episode 24, which means in this episode I am, that's right, 24 motherfucking years old. And last episode, we left off with me getting a job and meeting a girl who actually ended up becoming my manager, and we got in trouble for being together and pretty much ended up having to part ways with this job. And we left the area that we were living in and we went and got our own house out in the middle of nowhere in California in a little town called Merced. Now Merced's like this little, it's pretty awesome. It's like a town in the middle of like a desert, flatland, hill, valley area. It's kind of weird. It has like everything that you need in this one little city. And I was happy. I was very, very happy at this place. However, she was missing her family life. So what we decided to do was she did have another sister who was her half-sister, and her half-sister, after her mother died, ended up becoming, into foster care, and she still lived back on the East Coast in Boston, and she hasn't seen her in a very long time. So what we ended up doing was we applied for custody for her little sister, and that was actually a very scary thing because, I have a very large history and past record with having to get, in trouble with cops and in trouble with the law. And here I am now going to get a background check to make sure that I can take care of a kid as a foster parent. And the funny thing is since most of my past has happened before I turned 18, I actually passed the background check, which I was actually very proud of. I was like, wow, maybe I can do something with my life. Maybe I can be a normal person and leave the past behind me. So we ended up, having her flown out here to California, and we ended up spending a little bit of time together. And what they wanted to do was transition the sister into living with us. So they brought the sister to live with a foster family out in the same city that we were living in, which is amazing because, she wanted to be near family. She wanted to have her family around her. She was really a big family type person, even though she hated her father for the type of things that happened in the past. The same way that I hate my parents, but, she really did care about her brother. She really did care about her sister. Her brother used to come down and spend some time on the couch and hang out with us. And it's kind of cool because he liked to play video games and shit, and I played a little bit of video games with him, fuck him up in a little bit of Madden. So, anyway, we had her over, and, basically, her little sister took home a couple of pop brownies by accident. She did not know that they were pop brownies because, like I said, she was on medication, my fiance. She was on medical marijuana, so we used to have a little bit of marijuana laid around the house. She found the brownies in the cupboard, and she ended up going home. She ate one, got super stoned, didn't know what happened, and her foster parents ended up taking her into a hospital, and they did a drug test and found out that there was marijuana in the brownies. And, my girlfriend had to end up saying, oh my God, it was an accident. She grabbed the ones out of the cupboard. She wasn't supposed to, blah, blah, blah. So they said, look, we're not going to send her back to Boston. We're going to let her stay here in Merced, but we don't think that she should be in a house where there's medical marijuana and shit, which is actually discrimination because she did have a legal right to own this marijuana, to have it in the house, and it wasn't her fault that it was actually taken out of the house by her sister. It was just a big miscommunication and misunderstanding. It's the same thing how, if a little child gets a hold of, I guess, like some beer, drinks it, gets drunk. No, I'm just saying, but, shit happens and things happen. It was a huge misunderstanding. It was a huge mistake. And, even though you can do everything right in your life, this is a point in time to where I really, really got an understanding. Like, I used to blame myself for things that happened in my past because I grew up in the hood, or because, I didn't really have a dad or anything like that. And I used to always be like, man, if this was different, if that was different, if, I had this or that, it always gives you like a little bit of an out to think, maybe things wouldn't be this bad, right? But no, you can do everything right in your life. And things can just fuck up. Things just happen. So, this is the point to where I realized that, I kind of let go a lot of the hatred that I had in the past for some of the things that's happened to me. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not a fuck up. Maybe I'm not a screw up. Maybe just really shitty shit happens in life. And there's nothing that you could do about it, because that's just the path that it's on. That's what's happening. And you gotta go with the flow. You gotta roll with the punches. You can't say should've, would've, could've. You gotta look at what the fuck is, what happened, and then you gotta find a plan of action to either correct it, deal with it, or just move the fuck on. And this is the point in time that I just really kind of grew up, and I was like, you know what? I'm ready to let go a lot of that shit in the past. I'm ready to let go because, nobody here fucked up. Nobody here fucked up. It was just an unfortunate circumstance. It's not like anybody got sick. She did get a little bit stoned, but I mean, she was like 15, 16 at the time anyway. I mean, shit happens. So I'm not harboring any hatred for what happened. I'm not even gonna get mad at the people that were like, oh, they're gonna fucking not let her stay with us, because she lived like right around the corner anyway, and it was still alright because she still got to see her sister. She still got to hang out. And what happened was, because I told you that she hurt her foot, she had the infection on the bottom of her foot, and she didn't feel it. And then, she was handicapped for a while, couldn't walk, she had to be pushed around in a wheelchair. That's alright, that's no problem. I have no problem pushing around the woman I love in a wheelchair. We even went to Ozfest once. Oh, it wasn't Ozfest, it was Metal Mayhem, and it was probably the best day of my life, because check this out. We lived like 2 hours away from San Jose where we lived, and then we moved out to Merced, and then one day we woke up and we had to pick her up some more medical marijuana, which meant taking a 2-hour trip up to the Bay to go to San Francisco. And we're there at like 8 o'clock in the motherfucking morning for no reason at all. I don't even know why we're up that early, because I don't usually get up until around like 9 o'clock. At this point in time, I had a job at Walmart working in the fucking Tire and Lube Express area, because that is a place where I can always go and I can always fall back on, is because Walmart's easy to get a job at, and I'm really good at working on cars, so it makes no sense not to fucking be able to go, because there's Walmarts everywhere. That's why. But like I said, it was a small town, and the biggest store there was Walmart. That was like the biggest store that they had in that fucking city. So anyway, we were up pretty early. It was a day off, and we were just up in San Francisco picking up a little bit of medical marijuana. Her brother was watching her daughter, so that was no big deal. And then fucking my buddy Mike called up, and he was like, yo. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? He's like, dude, fucking Mayhem Fest is today. And I was like, what? He's like, dude, yeah, Mayhem Fest is today, and there's like all types of awesome bands playing. I remember it was As I Lay Dying was there. There's Behemoth. Guar was there. Guar is a fucking amazing band, and all types of other bands. I can't even remember. I'm pretty sure Black Dahlia Murder was there too that year. I'm not really 100% sure on that, but I do remember Black Dahlia being at an Ozfest out in California. But that's not the topic of the commentary. That's not exactly what we're talking about. But that day, we ended up taking her brother, and we took the daughter and we dropped her off at her other brother's house, and we took her other brother who used to spend a little bit of time with us, and we picked up my buddy Mike, and we all went out to this Mayhem Fest, and it was a really awesome day. I mean, we had a large bag of medical marijuana on us. We were at a concert that goes pretty well. It really does. So I mean, that was pretty much like the perfect day. Right now, I don't really feel like going into the gist of the story, but pretty much know that this year was just me doing everything right. I stepped up, I became a man, I took care of a family, I had a job, I had a house, I had a 2-car garage, I had 2 motherfucking cars, and I mean, it was perfect. Everything was going good. I didn't even give a fuck about making something of myself for the rest of my life. Like, I've always wanted to have like a higher purpose, a higher calling, I want to be famous one day and be a rock star. No, I was actually happy with just being me. I was happy with just being the person that I was. And, eventually we were going to try to get my son to come out there on the summers and hang out. Because what kid from New Jersey doesn't want to hang out in the summer with his dad? That would be an awesome setup. And I was like, man, that would be really cool for my son to be able to experience that as a kid, you know, that way he could grow up knowing that the world is bigger than the area that he lives in. Like I told you when I was a kid, you know, I used to think, oh my god, this is all there is, I'm stuck in the motherfucking hood, there's not a world out there, and I wanted to give that to my son. I really did. And even though, like I said, you can do everything fucking right, shit can happen. So I don't usually do this a lot, but I am gonna stick at the end of this. I'm gonna re-upload my Today is a Bad Day story, which tells the rest of the story of what happened this year, and pretty much the backstory of the girl that ended up becoming my fiance this year. And I wish I had a really cool story. I'll be like, oh yeah, you know, I broke the question to her really big, blah blah blah. But no, it was pretty much just a promise that I made to her while she was laid in a hospital with a giant fucking hole in her foot. And even though it's not that great of a story, it really does stick out in my head as a really awesome day in my time. Even though she had a hole in her foot, you know, I was still willing to be with her. I know that's fucked up, but it is. But like I said, don't worry about anything, really. If things happen, things fuck up, it might not be your fault. It might be your fault. But you know what? I noticed that you can do everything right, and shit can still fuck up. So, my name is Jay, MorninAfterKill. I want to thank you guys for watching. This episode is going to be kind of short because I really don't want to go into it any more than I already have. Just know that shit got fucked up, and there's nothing I could have done about it. So, my name is Jay, MorninAfterKill. Make sure you guys rate, comment, subscribe. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you could leave a thumbs up on this video, I would highly appreciate it because it gives me motivation to make more videos for you motherfuckers that watch my motherfucking videos. And I'm going to see you guys later. What's up, guys? It's Jay, MorninAfterKill, and I'm pretty much making this video for myself. If I decide to post it, I decide to post it. You know, I do feel like I have some subscribers that actually do care and want to hear some things that are going on in my life. And a lot of you guys out there also have dates like today, which would be marking a very monumental day in your life, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna post it, I don't know if I'm just gonna keep it on my hard drive, but you know, I feel like I want to get this off my chest because, you know, YouTube has been a big outlet for me, and you know, I've connected with so many people that I never really put my I don't really put my personal feelings out there too much. I mean, I tell you guys about my life, what I've done, you guys ask me questions in my Sunday Q&A, but I don't really get a chance to just put my fucking feelings out there and say something that, you know, is really near and dear to me. And I tweeted out earlier, I was like, you know what, guys, I don't know if I'm gonna have a Borderlands video for you today because today is a very shitty day in my life, and it marks one of the biggest things that's changed my entire life. So let me tell you just a little bit of a story. When I moved to California from New Jersey, I had $150 in my pocket, and I was probably about 19, 20 years old. I just got done living with my baby's mother, and you know, we decided that it's not gonna work. And one of my friends that lived in California, he offered me a place to stay. He's like, yo, I have a couch, it's not much, but you can stay on my couch. So I moved out to California with it was my last unemployment check that I had left, and I moved there with my last unemployment check. It was $150, and you know, I slept on his couch for about 3-4 weeks until I was able to get my own apartment. I had my own job, and one of my buddies, Sean, really cool guy, he hooked me up with a VW Beetle. It was a 1973, really shitty fucking car, but it ran damn good. They just got done rebuilding it, him and his grandpa. He was like, dude, I'll let you have this for like $300-400. Fucking awesome. That car lasted me, you know, it helped me get on my fucking feet, and you know, I'm thankful for people like that in my life. But you know, after I went through a job or two in California, because like I said before, I don't really hold jobs too well. I left the one custom wheel place that I was working at because I got offered a lot of money at this other place, and I went there and then I got fired because I accidentally hit a customer in a chain. I'm not going to talk about that because that's not the topic of the commentary, but I ended up going to work at Sears. I know what you guys are. I was a Sears Auto Tech, which, you know, Sears Auto Center we called SAC. So, yeah, I was working at SAC, and I met probably the most beautiful woman that I've ever met up until that point. And she was actually my manager. And, you know, we really hit it off. Things were fucking magical at that point. and we ended up moving in together and living together, and we both got fired together when they found out that, we were together. But we were like, fuck that, you know what? We took our money and we left where we were living in California, and we got ourselves a house out in like, it was like the countryside, kind of like Route 99 out by like, I think it was like out by Fresno and shit. Just a little bit north of Fresno though, not in the shithole areas of Modesto though. It was a little bit lower than that, but it was a really nice place. And you know what? I was happy, you know. I've had a shitty childhood, you know. I grew up in the hood, fucking, you know, don't know my dad, all that other shit. I'm not gonna go into that because I'm gonna get into that in my road to 30. But like I said, I was at a point in my life that I was fucking happy, you know, with this woman. We were together for about 3 years almost. It would have been 3 years, probably about like, if it lasted another 4 to 5 months. So we were gonna say 2.5 years. And why I say it lasted, and I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, are you gonna get really choked up over an ex-girlfriend? Yes, yes I am. I'm it eats a hole, and I could think of these words as much as I want to say them. I could write them down, and it's just putting them into words. It's just terrible. So let me give you a little bit of a background about her. Is that she had a child before we actually before we met. So she had a child. I think she was about like 3 or 4 years old, and things were good. I was, helping take care of her kid, even though my kid was still back in New Jersey. It made me feel like, I was closer to my son, while I was living in California with her kid. Very, very cool kid. She was just amazing. So anyway, her kid was basically the product of a statutory rape. Her boyfriend at the time was she was living with her dad when she was like 16 years old, and then her dad brought this guy to move into the house, and they started fooling around, and the guy was probably about like 31, 32 when she was 16. Yeah, real scumbag. Like, if I ever get my hands on this guy, it's not gonna be pretty. But anyway, real scumbag, 30 years old, and her dad, being the scumbag that he was, like, she was in a really broken household like I was, as a kid. She grew up the same type of way. So, we really connected. And her dad allowed this, and she ended up getting pregnant, and he tried to sue for custody of the kid because she had a foot injury. She had, like I said, she had a lot of problems in her life. I'm not really gonna go. I'll tell her story one day. But she had a foot injury that was, keeping her from taking her kid to the bus stop. And we tried to work it out as best as we can and shit to get the kid to school. And she had a couple of lates there, and she wasn't getting to school on time, like maybe like 5-10 minutes late, no big deal. But he was trying to sue for custody over this, and he actually won. I don't know how. Like, this is just the thing that blows my fucking mind, is that the fucking court systems always side with the women, with the mothers, and this fucking asshole beat her in court. And I wasn't there because the court was 45 minutes away, back where we originally lived, and I had to work the next day. So I stayed down here, I gave her a kiss goodbye. It was a very good moment in my life. She went to go back up to court, and then that day, since she lost her daughter, she killed herself. And I wasn't there. She was at her father's house, and she found a bunch of prescriptions and a bunch of medications, and she ended her life that night. And I remember it was 7:30 in the morning. The next morning, when I was at the auto center where I was working at, and I got a message. I got a call from her brother, and I was like, "What's up, dude?" And he was like, "Dude, fucking, she killed herself last night." And I was like, I just broke down, man. Like, I just threw the phone across the room, and I don't remember much, but I remember crying a lot, and it was just, it makes me angry to this day. And I'm not angry with her because I understand the problems that she had and why but I just wanted to grab somebody and rip their fucking face off. Like, and that's why I say, if I ever get to come near this motherfucker that fucked up her life this bad, I will rip your fucking shit apart, dude. Like, seriously. I'm not even lying. Like, it's just, and I remember that day, and it killed me inside so bad that I was working, and I stopped everything, and I just left. And, like, one of the dudes there was like, you know, just what happened? And I guess the phone was still on the hook, so they talked to whoever was still on the phone, and I just left, and I had like a little Thunderbird at the time. It was a supercharged 6-cylinder, and I remember like I had no insurance, no insurance. Like I said, we were struggling to make things work, but it was really good, like our relationship. And you know, I lived right around the corner, so I didn't really need registration on this car. It was an extra car that we had laying around, and I just went back to the house, and I grabbed everything, and I just tossed it in the back of my car. Everything, like all my clothes, I grabbed. I didn't even grab a TV or nothing like that. I just grabbed my clothes. I grabbed my toolbox and all my tools, just tossed it in the trunk, and I just tore ass a fucking way. And I mean, I was driving fast. I'm talking about, I'm fucking power sliding around every corner. I mean, this is why they tell you not to drive in an emotional state, because I was seeing red, and every gear was being banged through like it was a fucking Formula One, because bam, right around every, and it just, oh my god, if I could have I could have killed somebody that day. Like, honestly, the way I felt inside, I just wanted to kill somebody. And, I went to the only place that made sense, and I went back to my buddy Mike's house, and I was like, hey man, you know, she died. And he's like, what? And it was a terrible day, man. And it kills me inside today. And it sucks. So, wow, I'm sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to get a tad emotional there, really, but seriously, I mean, I just wanted to tell this story, just to get it off my chest, because, you know, when you have something inside that makes you feel bad, it does feel better to say it out loud. Like I said, it's hard to come up with the words in a voice, but you can think about it all day. But when you actually say it, that's when it makes it real. So, yeah, I lost my girlfriend. Well, actually, she was my fiance at the time. I lost her about 7 years ago. A year later, I met the girlfriend that I'm with now. Like I said, she is a beautiful woman, and she is a great woman, and she knows everything about this. And, you know, it's been awesome of her to put up with this, because, you know, I still love the fiance that I had before her. And she understands that, you know, it's just something that's not ever gonna go away, and it's hard to find somebody in life that can actually understand that and be fine and be comfortable with that. So, you know, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, seriously, makes me feel better. I don't know if I'm actually gonna post this, like I said. If I do, well, I mean, whatever, man. So, my name's Jay, MorninAfterKill, and, Today's just a bad day.
And I can only waste so much time wondering what's in store for me. Cause if you keep asking the same question over and over again, you'll get the same response. You'll get